showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome everybody out today to episode 212 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield. I am the host. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for listening. I got a great show today. Danielle UberAlles is on today's episode of the podcast. Had a great time sitting down, chatting with her. Got the opportunity to find out her story and what she's up to here in Salt Lake City. Before I do get into the episode, though, I of course want to mention the show sponsor, Oleo Skin and Beard. You know, you've heard me talk about them on the podcast. Oleoskin.com is their website. You can go there and find out more about their products. You can purchase all of their awesome beard oils, skin oils. They got a brand new beard soap that I'm about to try. So head on over to their website, oleoskin.com. Use the promo code IAMSaltLake. It's going to give you 25% off of your entire purchase. And you can buy it right there from the website. I know they're going to be doing all kinds of events here in Salt Lake City. So follow them on social media as well. That way you can stay up to date on everything that they're doing. Speaking of Oleo Skin and Beard, they were actually at the I Am Salt Lake Live that happened just last night at Watchtower Cafe. Had a lot of fun at the live show. Kevin Kirk joined me, Shane Smith, and Brian Bingham. Had a great opportunity to catch up with them and do a live show in a brand new venue for I Am Salt Lake, Watchtower Cafe. Go support them, Watchtower Cafe, 1588 South State Street. Mike and Corey over there are great people. They're doing some really cool things, lots of events happening at Watchtower that you need to keep an eye on as well. And as always, thank you so much, John Farmer and Utah Musicians Radio for constant support of the podcast and for sponsoring the live show, making the live stream possible. I don't know if any of the listeners, any of you listen to the live stream. I'd love to know your feedback on that. If you didn't make it out to the live show and you were listening to the live stream, let me know what you thought of that, if I should do more of that in the future, if you enjoyed that type of thing, or if you didn't enjoy it. I'd love to know your feedback. Chris@IamSaltLake.com is my email address. IamSaltLake.com is the website where you can go and find out more about the podcast. We actually have a store there, a shop online there where you can buy t-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff. And it's a great way to support the podcast, wear some really cool t-shirts, and keep the podcast moving forward. You know, doing a podcast, it's a lot of work and a lot of money. And so your support by buying a t-shirt or a coffee mug helps the show out in more ways than you even realize. So thanks to those of you that have purchased from the website. Again, IamSaltLake.com is the hub of everything podcast related. Like I said, Danielle UberAlles from Hello Sweetie podcast is on this episode. Great conversation. Let's jump into that conversation. The interview with Danielle was recorded at the Utah Musicians Radio office spaces here in Salt Lake City. Check them out as well, amr.fm. So with that being said, join me as I sit down, chat with her, and find out the story of Danielle UberAlles. Danielle UberAlles.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
I thought I did.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're
Good.
recording here. We're gonna get chatting and find out all about Danielle.
Sounds good.
What are the chances? I mean, and I could cut this out if you would rather me not, but I mean, obviously UberAlles isn't your legitimate last name.
No.
Most people obviously know that.
You know what? Some people don't. Some people think it's real.
Really?
And it's like, have you not listened to the Dead Kennedys? Because that's the reference.
Well, and that's kind of, I'm curious where that even came from. Where did that start from? How long have you been using that alias?
I have been using that for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, like, when I get married, like, I really want to try and talk my husband into just, like, changing our name to that.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did it come? I mean, what, like an online type thing? Was it like a chat room thing or something?
No. So, like, it's actually a MySpace thing.
Okay.
Like, I didn't really have, like, a MySpace name, but I didn't like to use my real last name. Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of that just kind of happened. Like I got really into the Dead Kennedys.
Well, of course.
And
everybody should, right?
Exactly. Oh my God. No joke. And, I thought that like it worked really well with that song title. And so it went not. So yeah.
And first look of it, like online on like your face, it looks legitimate.
Yeah, no. So, originally I had like a space between Uber and Alice, but then when we were in like Hello Sweetie, we were in, one of the local magazines and they screwed up my name. They just put Danielle Uber. And I'm like, no, like it's
like the Uber driver.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like, no, that's not like, it's an alias and like it. And so, and then there was that whole crackdown on Facebook that they were like they were going to delete your Facebook if you didn't use your real last name.
And how would they even know that though? How, like, did they contact you?
No, luckily I did not get contacted.
Were you
but
worried?
I knew people that got contacted and stuff. A lot of derby girls got contacted, like roller derby girls. And so I started to panic. And so I just got rid of the space and
put it all together.
Yep. And it just made it a lot easier for me with cons and stuff like that. Cause it's all put together.
I've always wanted an alias. I guess maybe it's too late to start doing an alias. I don't know. I mean, I guess you had to kind of start, like you said, back in MySpace. There really wasn't a lot of social media at that time. So it was like automatically right from the start, boom, Danielle UberAlles.
Pretty much, yeah.
I wanted to touch on that. You know what I mean? Just because I find it so awesome. I find it's definitely a name you remember, and when you introduce people probably to hey, that's my name. They're like, oh, I'm going to remember that name. But,
exactly. And I've also had like stalker issues and stuff. So it's kind of nice to like not have my real last name. Kind of helps.
I've always wanted a stalker. I've never had one.
It's not.
Well,
awesome.
maybe I've had one. I just
you
don't
may
know,
have. They're just like really good.
But no, I'm excited to sit down with you. There's a lot I want to chat with you about. And it's kind of we might jump all over the place, but that's the beauty of a podcast. You're one of the Hello Sweetie girls.
Yes. Founding member.
Okay. And that's what I wanted to get right into. So, I mean, you were right from the start.
I was, yeah. Like
how talk about, I mean, so did you know Charity then or no?
I met, I was sitting at a Geek Show movie night.
Okay.
And Charity had posted on the Geek Show page, like, hey, I want to start an all-girl podcast. And I looked at my friend and I'm like, I'm going to take a chance on this because I've wanted to do a podcast and stuff. And she and I met at, it wasn't Watchtower then. It was Coffee Connection.
Yeah.
And we met there and it just kind of hit it off. And
your first podcast you've ever done. You never did one before. Hello, Sweetie.
Yeah.
Just recently 200 episodes.
Yeah. 200. Yeah. We just barely 201 drops this week.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
Every week you guys. And I mean, I've had Charity on the podcast, obviously, and I'm sure a lot of people listen I'm sure there's people listening that never heard of Hello, Sweetie. Let's pretend there. So you do an episode every week.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe it? Let's a simple description or lengthy, however you
organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
Yeah. We have structure and stuff. Like we have we're going to talk about movies here. Then we go to the box office and then we go to TV, to rumors if there are any. Then we do video games, comics, and then some science stuff if there is anything. And then we just wrap it up. And then we just kind of just go from there. So
feel free to mention who's on the podcast.
We have Crystal Starr. She's our amazing editor and mama bear and just everything. She's great. She's our producer. Love her to death. She's also a comedian. We also have Rebecca Frost. She has also dabbled in comedy and she's my best friend. And
did you know her before the podcast?
No. So no, she and I just hit it off immediately. And she and I pretty much been inseparable since she joined.
Yeah. So you didn't know any of the girls before you started recording?
Anyone. No, I was complete stranger. Charity, of course, knew Rebecca and Crystal, and then there was another girl that was on before too, and they all knew each other from roller derby, and I was the weird stranger that they brought on. And
I'll link Charity's episode up on iamsaltlake.com with this one, so people can just click on it. That way, if there's find out more about the podcast, find out more, about how the connection there. But I think it's a cool podcast. You know what I mean? It's different. It's how long? So it's about 3 years, 4 years?
This is our 4th year, but really with Rebecca, it's our third year
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's kind of where I like we had a few good episodes before Rebecca, but
Because you started, I mean, Hello Sweetie started pretty close to the same time as I Am Salt Lake, I think.
Yeah, I think we started just before you.
Because I Am Salt Lake started the summer of 2012 was the first episode.
We started at the same
that I
time.
posted.
Because I bought my car the week before we started recording, and I bought my car in summer 2012.
Have you guys taken a break at all? Or
there was a short break when Charity was going through a divorce.
Yeah,
and
I think
stuff.
we talked.
Yeah, so there was just a short break there, and we had to try and find a new board and stuff. And Crystal seriously is like our godsend. She's like our mom, and she's the best. She bought us a board. She just kind of like.
And for people, like a mixer, right? Is what
the mixer,
the
soundboard.
for the microphones and everything to go through.
She got it, we got all new microphones and everything with her help, and she just, What's
your favorite thing about doing a podcast? Like, honestly, what do you look forward to? Being
able to, geek out about stuff.
Sure.
And whatnot, recently for one of my homework assignments, because I go up to the U, I had to transcribe a story that I told somebody, and I actually used a story from the podcast where I retold The Hobbit and stuff. I actually posted that online, but and it was just kind of such good memories of us just geeking out and stuff, and I really like it.
What do you dislike the most? What's your least favorite part about doing the podcast?
Sometimes doing having to do every week can sometimes be really hard.
Oh, it gets tough.
It gets really tough.
God,
but
this again.
I don't like to miss and stuff. And there are some days where I'm just I don't want to look at anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody, but I don't like to miss. And so I just fake it. And
do you find it to be therapeutic at all?
Sometimes,
I find chatting and doing this to be a little bit of a release and kind of an escape from everyday life a little bit.
Absolutely. It's really nice to just be able to connect to everybody and stuff in our group.
And I don't know if you mentioned when you were kind of talking about your panel who's on the podcast. I think you started maybe, but kind of everybody has a different specialty, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a different thing they focus on, and
yeah, for sure. For instance, I do the video games, and I kind of do some comic stuff, and I kind of am just the all around I've got an opinion about everything. And Rebecca has a lot of TV stuff because her dad Bill Frost.
Sure.
So she and him have a lot in common that way, and he's actually provided us with some listings and stuff before.
Listings for
TV listings and stuff for the week.
Oh, okay.
And whatnot.
Okay.
And then and she does comic book stuff as well. And then Crystal does the box, and she's kind of just a general likes everything. So, and then Charity likes to do a lot of the sciencey stuff.
Do you listen to many podcasts at all?
I listen to a few.
Recommendations of any sort?
Last Podcast on the Left is my big, huge favorite.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's so good. It's these 3 comedians out of New York City. One of them is actually an actor. He was on Heroes Reborn. And he was also in Wolf of Wall Street, and he does Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, a TV show on Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. And then these 2 other dudes, and it's just, they talk about serial killers, they talk about creepy stuff, they talk about aliens and conspiracy theories, and it's so much fun.
Wow, I have to check that out.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's seriously one of my favorites because I have a big thing for serial killers. I find them so fascinating.
They are.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite serial killer? Do you have a favorite?
Kind of tied between Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Fair enough.
Because Ted Bundy's kind of attractive. And Jeffrey Dahmer is just.
So are you saying you would have gotten in the car?
No,
with Ted?
I would not have gotten in the car. I am so. Nope. I've watched enough horror movies. I know you never get in the car.
But when he was out and about, there wasn't a lot
I'm pretty cautious about that kind of thing. Yeah. They actually, on the Ted Bundy episode, they actually had like a girl call in and they're like, all right, so we're going to give you these scenarios and you're going to tell us how you're reacting. And then they pretended to be him and stuff. And we're like, oh, like my arm is broken. Can you please help me like get my stuff in my car? And she's like, yeah, totally. He's like, you're dead. You're fucking dead. Like, and stuff.
So you must watch like a lot of serial killer documentaries, right?
I do. I actually made the mistake of watching the Jeffrey Dahmer files right after I made myself dinner of mac and cheese and hot dogs. That was a bad idea. It was a really bad idea.
Were you able to eat it though?
I was. I did. I have a pretty strong stomach, but it was still just kind of one of those things that's like, oh, this is a little too on the nose for the subject matter.
Yeah. What got you interested in that? I mean, what got you interested in serial killers? What got you?
You know what? I have no.
Just kind of something that happened,
it was just
right?
something that happened. When I was growing up, I was the biggest chicken in the world. Like, biggest. Like, I couldn't watch. Like, we started watching Men in Black, my parents and I, when I was really little. And the moment, like, the bad alien, I can't remember his name, but the moment that he took over Vincent D'Onofrio's body, I just started sobbing and I noped right out of there. Like, I was too scared.
Yeah.
And then we tried to watch Independence Day and I couldn't do that either. Like,
as a kid, you couldn't watch this.
I was terrified.
Really?
Terrified. And then
what? Like, I mean, but did anybody notice this? Like, was your family
my parents were just like, all right, let's go put you in your room and you can just watch like a cartoon and stuff. Like, and then they just, you know, like they would just kind of like, they'd stop the movie, they'd go and console me and get me started on like a cartoon upstairs, and then they'd go finish the movie downstairs.
Where did you grow up? Did you grow up here in Utah?
I grew up in Utah, yeah. Like, I grew up, we kind of lived all over West Jordan.
Okay.
And stuff. My dad built houses, so.
Really?
Yeah, so we moved a lot.
But just in West Jordan?
Just mostly in West Jordan, yeah.
Huh.
Like when I was really little, we lived way out West Jordan, like 54th West.
Yeah.
You know, and then we moved to kind of more towards 13th West and stuff. And then we moved down to St. George after that.
What took you down to St. George?
My dad hates snow. And he worked up in Park City.
Sounds like I need to become friends with your dad.
No, my dad hates snow. And like he built houses up in Park City. And so he was just kind of over it. And my mom was just getting laid off at American Express. And then they were expecting my little sister. And so they were like, what better time?
Have they come back? They're still down there?
They're still down there. Yep, yeah. They're still down there.
And you said you had a younger sister?
Yeah, I've got a younger sister. She's 13. And then my little brother is, he is 8.
Okay. So, pretty close with them? Or, I mean, you know, as siblings can be, right?
My little sister and I, when she was really little, no, not at all. Like, I think that I had some resentment towards her. Like, I loved her because she was my sister, but I think because, like, I was an only child for so long, and then all of a sudden they brought in this new kid, you know, there's kind of like that weird resentment in the back.
I think that happens with most kids, though, when they have a new younger brother and sister, you know? I mean, I'm 9 years older than my younger sister, and so there was kind of that excitement, yet, wait a minute, all eyes aren't on me now. So it's like,
especially,
hello.
Yeah, especially because growing up, like, I remember asking my parents a few times, like, oh, well, when am I going to get a sibling? And they're like, we're done. Like, we don't need another kid, kind of thing. Like, you're enough. Like, we have tons of fun. We do all this cool stuff. Like, we don't.
So you were a pretty good kid, though, or no? I mean, were you getting in trouble or no?
No, I was a really good kid.
Yeah.
Like, I was, like, it's weird because, like, people usually, like, when they see me, because like I wear a lot of black, when I was in middle school, like I wore all the Hot Topic clothes, and I was in National Honor Society. Like
so good grades.
Yeah, like I had really good grades. I was a really good kid. Like,
what was your favorite subject in
English?
School?
English has always been my favorite, and then probably like history and stuff. And then I was always in like the honors classes and stuff. And I was always like hanging out with all these goody goody kids, and I like had on the big ass pants or like a shorter skirt and stuff. Like, it was just, yeah.
I see, and I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have thought. Not. Don't take that the wrong way.
No, I've been used to it my whole life. Like, I never did like drugs or anything or drank at all until like I was in my 20s. Sure. Yeah. And I remember one time when I was in hair school, because like I'm fascinated by drugs and like the side effects and everything. Like I think it's an interesting.
I think we all are fascinated by drugs.
Totally. But like the scary ones, like I kind of like to know about like their side effects, because it's kind of one of those things that's like, well, why would you want to do this?
Oh yeah. Like you're gonna have to deal with this the next day, or the long-term effects, losing your teeth or your hair.
Exactly. And I think it's so fascinating. And I remember talking to a girl when I was in hair school, and I was explaining some of the side effects of like meth to her. And she seriously, like, she thought that like I did all these drugs, and I was like, I've never even touched the stuff. Like, I've never been in the same room with the stuff. Like,
you know way too much about this drug, Danielle, if you know that much about it. But no, I've never really understood some of those other drugs. It's kind of like, are you just hanging out with somebody one day, and you're like, hey, do you want to, smoke some meth with me? And you're just like, well, wait a minute. I saw this in a commercial once that I need to leave now and I'm gonna call my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned when we were chatting about Rebecca and Crystal, stand-up comedy. Yeah. I know you've gone up and done a couple of open mics, right? Or no?
I've done a couple open mics.
Yeah.
I did when for our show, we will sometimes host like an open mic at Sandy Station. We've done it 3 times now.
At your Hello Sweetie.
The Hello Sweetie hosts like an open mic at Sandy Station.
Because I've seen it. I've never come to one. Do you actually record a podcast?
We
there?
don't.
No, or?
Nope. We just kind of show up and like we host open mic. Like Crystal and Rebecca went up, and like the last time that we did it, we were actually raising money for a guy from the Left Show, Forrest.
Yeah.
He has cancer, and so we were raising some money for him because he was kind of needing some funds and stuff because you're
doing a good deed, right?
Yeah, and so we just kind of did like raising some funds and everything for him, and and then that's when I did my first open mic.
So you just got up there. You wrote a few jokes.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was? Because I want to do it. I want to get up and do like 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
And I talk about it a lot. People, gosh, Crystal, you just talk about it. Get up and do it. But seriously, I want to do it. How was it for you? What was it like?
I was really drunk, but I was sober at the end.
Really? It just sobered you right up.
Like, it just sobered me right up. And I was talking to my friend Taylor Hunsaker. She's also a local comedian. I was walking her out because she had to bounce a little early, but she wanted to see my set. And I was walking her out, and I was just like, dude, like, I can do the Comic-Con panels, and I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little nerve-wracking, but
well, you're doing great right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's one of those things, like, sometimes it depends on, like, the situation, but sometimes talking in big groups like that doesn't bother me. But, like, the moment I got on stage, I was just...
Well, with comedy though, there's so much. I mean, there's timing, there's punchlines, kind of like there's everything, and that you would really, and if you don't deliver it right, you could say the same thing 10 different ways and be taken.
Like there are some really great local comedians, and I almost have like their sets memorized because I've seen them so many times because I go to so many shows. Because I like supporting the scene. I really like the people, but there are some times when I watch them and I'm like, hey, but you delivered that differently last time and it was so much better, or you know what I mean? And a lot of them, like I could say that, like with Natasha Maurer, sometimes I'm like, hey, like you didn't like. You can change like your delivery on this or something, or I really liked that addition that you made and stuff. So,
and what's their reaction? Do you find they appreciate the feedback?
Yeah, most of them are great about it and stuff. Like, I don't think I've ever dealt with somebody that's not.
Where would you like to see that go? I mean, or are you just kind of having fun with it?
I'm just kind of like having fun with it. Yeah. Like, honestly, the only reason that I did it was just because I felt weird hanging out with the comedians all the time and not doing it.
Well, fair enough. Because I came to an open mic. You did it.
Yeah,
you were up there. And
I did. And then I decided that I wanted to do, because I've been to a lot of the other local open mics, and there's not like a lot of laughter happening there. Like
a lot of sadness, a lot of crying.
There's a lot of sadness, and crying. Like even when people say like really funny jokes that you've heard before, like nobody's really laughing at because it's a bunch of just comedians, and stuff. And so I feel like those ones are kind of more like working on your delivery and working on like how you take like a crowd not reacting and stuff. Like I feel like that kind of helps build your character or something.
Does it tear you down like when you're like, gosh, you're supposed to be laughing, people? Like I mean, or do you just kind of move on, or how does that? How do you feel?
When I've done it, I've just like move on because I'm just, but I've seen some people kind of get upset about it. and stuff, and just like, well, that's not working. And it's like, well, technically it probably would work, but for some reason this crowd, like our group isn't really responding for some reason. But and so I decided to do the Wise Guys ones because because I was like, it's guaranteed laughter pretty much. You know, because there's comedians there, but there's also like a bunch of other people and stuff.
Did you know? But do you noticed it from different crowds? I mean, Wise Guys versus Sandy Station
sure. Like
versus
especially just like watching how other comedians are and stuff, and like seeing them at these open mics versus when they're at Wise Guys and stuff too. So yeah. It's kind of fascinating.
You know, like I said, I mean, I want to give it a try. I don't know, man. I'm prepared. You know,
you really
I'll
should.
bomb, but I've got a few jokes. I need to sit and really write more. I'm not anywhere near 3 minutes is a long time when you're up there, but
it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like
I was supposed to try it this month, but I doubt I'll get up there and.
I would suggest, like, you should try the Watchtower open mic.
I went to it one day. There was like 3 people there.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it is a little bit quieter, but it's a lot of the same people there that show up, but they're a little bit more responsive and stuff, and it's kind of warmer.
Okay.
And stuff. Like the Sandy Station one is kind of like the sad one. The sad open mic, and then you have the Ice House, and that one's kind of like it's fun, but sometimes like people can be kind of bitchy there, but it's a fun like.
And then Wise Guys is like the legit.
And then Wise Guys is kind of like
boom. That's like hey, you know, you got to take this seriously and not have.
Yeah, like the Wise Guys, I think is more like a prep for like your own show kind of thing, because it's usually like a really full room and stuff. So
I want to talk about gluten-free.
Okay.
I want to talk about your I chat before I hit record. We kind of got on some tangents, and I was like, no, let's save this for the recording.
Yeah.
But since I do the gluten-free thing, and I know you do, and hopefully somebody listening out there is going to find a little bit of value. I know there's other gluten-free listeners. I know they've already reached out to me.
There's quite a few.
But they get so much crap.
Yeah, like it's because of a lot of the people doing it as like a fad diet.
Yeah.
But
so what? Even if they are, who cares?
The one positive thing about the fad diet people is that it's provided more options.
Well, sure.
And stuff, and better tasting food.
Sure.
A problem with the fad dieters is that like you go to a place, for instance, like there's a really good local waffle place. Like,
please tell me.
It's Waffle Love.
Oh yeah. But they just sell the batter though, right?
They can make it for you.
Really?
But because it's made on the same thing, it's cross-contaminated. I actually messaged them about it because like at first I was fired up because I was like, why the hell would you make like the gluten-free batter if you're not even going to have it as an option? And I like talked to them about it, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Cost-wise, it costs so much for those waffle irons.
Does it really?
It really does. Like,
I mean, and I guess you may get one gluten-free person a week or a day or
exactly. So it's just not really worth it. And so I was just talking to him about it, and I talked to another local a local restaurant owner, Lee George Cade. He owns Frisch.
Yeah.
And I talked to them about like possibilities of like more gluten-free options, and it was just like, you know what? Like they provide what they can because it can get really costly.
Well, and the thing with the true gluten-free, like you said, with the cross-contamination, is there's so much more like just the dust and
details. Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes it tough for you to eat out.
It really does. When I go to Frisch, like Lee and Rachel and the other people that prepare food there, when I put in my order, they finish up what they're doing. They wipe everything down for me.
Okay, and see, this is good for me because I haven't had a chance to go back into Frisch. I haven't been there since when I converted last summer.
Yeah, and what I do usually, like when they have the Crunch Wrap Superior, what I do is I actually make it a salad.
Okay.
So I have them like put it all on the lettuce and have like all the sauces since I can't have it like in the tortilla, and it's just oh my god. Like it's the shit.
And so if you live here in Salt Lake and you're gluten free, go try out Frisch.
Yeah, their soups are always gluten free. I think there might be like one that they make that isn't, but yeah, the soups are like usually gluten free. The nachos are gluten free. So you
And
can't do the full
regardless, it
rigor,
sounds
but
like they're familiar.
they are.
with the
They're really
diet.
great. Yeah, they're super are because there's actually like a lot of people who do have like celiac but are also lactose intolerant, and so they like to go to the vegan restaurants because they have great lactose free options for them.
So you're legitimately celiac then, right? Like, okay, so how long? I mean,
almost a year.
I want to dig here a little bit, if that's okay.
Almost a year.
So, you went to the doctor? You got a test, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I want to find. I mean, what prompted you? Without getting. I mean, obviously, we don't need to get into certain things. But,
Yeah, no.
So,
I started to notice like
you just weren't feeling
sick,
well. Yeah.
yes, all the time, just not feeling awesome at all. And I kind of start to like wean out the wheat products and everything. And
so you were already doing this before you went to the doctor?
Pretty much, yeah,
Sure.
because my grandma has it, her sister has it, one of our other nephews has it. Like there's a bunch of people in my family with it. So it was just kind of like immediately like, well, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Let's just get this done.
So you went in and got what was your reaction like? Bummed?
I was a little bit of bummed because it is difficult.
Sure.
And
you were just
stuff.
like, why can't I be a normal person
Yeah,
and be able
exactly.
to eat burgers?
And then and like people will offer you food and you're like, I want it so bad, but I can't. And like I find myself saying that so often is that like, because I'm not trying to make them like feel bad for me and I'm trying not to make them like delve into it, but like somebody's like offered me a beer and I'm just like, I can't. Like I want to, but I can't. And like instead of just saying like no thank you.
Have you tried the
something,
gluten-free beers?
There's like one that's good.
Which is what?
I think it's the one with the bridge on it.
No, I didn't like it. Well, I mean, okay, if you like it, I'll let you like it.
No, it was all right. Like I'm not a huge beer person.
Oh, see, and I was a beer person. Oh man, I love beer.
I liked beer on occasion, and I could only do like just like the half pint or whatever, just like the small one, and that was it. And I was good for a while. But I liked a lot of the malt beverages, but you can't have those anymore. But I really like the woodchuck.
Yeah, woodchuck
ciders. Oh my god,
that woodchuck was actually one of the first alcoholic drinks I ever drank. Zima was the first alcoholic drink I ever drank. But
mine was always wine coolers.
Wine cooler. Hey, you got to go big, right? Go big with the wine coolers. But have you been to Zest?
I have not been to Zest yet. That's on my list.
You got to. I mean, they're all gluten free there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wanted to go there during Comic-Con, but Rebecca was kind of like, because when you're at Comic-Con, usually you get one meal a day, and you want it to be a good big meal that's going to like. You know what I mean? It's kind of like carbo loading for the day.
Yeah.
And so we ended up going to someplace else. I think we went and got pizza or something. Yeah. And so,
but you probably couldn't eat it though, or did you eat
Estee.
it? Oh,
Estee,
so
you can.
Are they pretty good with the not cross
Estee
contaminated?
is great, and then so is the pie.
Okay.
And stuff. The pie is really good. I like the veggie pizza.
Yeah. I mean, I've had the gluten free from both, but I'm not quite as. I should be pickier. Like I should be like, okay, I'm going to worry about the cross contamination. Like, I mean, I doesn't need to get into detail of everything, but. I should try that out. But no, Estee is really good. The pie is really good. Zest, I highly recommend it.
Yes, I want to so
I live
bad.
right around the corner from there, so like I don't go there as much as I should, but I highly recommend Zest. But yeah, I know I was eager to chat with you a little bit on the gluten-free thing, you know.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And I'm always curious, you know, and I'm going to say this right now. I'd like to connect. I mean, feel free to myself or Danielle. I'm sure Danielle would love to
for sure.
chat with gluten-free people here in Salt Lake. If you're listening,
I will tell you where to eat. Like I love food so much.
Yeah, but what are some of your other hobbies and interests? We've talked podcasting and comedy, and I mean, do you have anything else that keeps you busy, or what?
I like to read a lot, and I like to read comics. I'm an English major at the U and stuff, so school really keeps.
So you're
me busy.
going to school still?
I am going to school full time. Mm-hmm.
What? Where do you want that to lead you? Where do you
really want to get into comics. Like I want to work in the comic book industry.
Like
in publishing. Yeah.
Drawing?
Like,
do you draw comics?
I don't draw. No. I would like to write, but being a oh my god, I can't think of the word right now. Like Oh my God. Like when you are a writer, you have
like
to
an editor,
freelance.
freelancer. Yeah.
Yeah. So writing comics is kind of like being a freelance writer and stuff. So like they can just end it at any time. Like it's not really like a guaranteed set thing.
Sure.
And so I have an interest in it, but I think that would be like a second position. I really like to be in like the editing side and kind of behind the scenes. When I went to Slick, I was actually part of the literary magazine. Like I helped put that together one year and stuff. And I really like to do like the editing and going through like submissions and like trying to get people on time and stuff, like deadlines and everything. I love that kind of stuff. Like being a boss.
And I don't know a whole lot about comics, but would you? Yeah. What's a comic you would recommend? Favorite comic,
favorite comic that's really
or recommend. I guess would they be different? Would they be different or no?
Kind of. So with like recommend, I usually kind of go for more like you're not really big into reading comics. That's not like you don't like to read them, but you're not big in reading comics.
I just never really ventured there. I'm more just like, give me a book with words.
Do you like history or
sure,
do you, okay.
Sure, history.
So history, I would suggest Mouse by Art Spiegelman.
And I've seen Mouse. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Art Spiegelman, it's him having like a conversation with his dad. Like it's actually multiple conversations, but learning about his dad's experience during World War II, because his dad was in the concentration camps and stuff, and learning about like his mom and everything, and he had like a brother who passed away and stuff before like he was taken to a camp, and it's just super fascinating, and it's all done like all the Jewish people are drawn as mice, and all the Nazis are drawn as cats. The Polish people are pigs. Americans are dogs, of course,
Yeah.
And it's just, it's beautiful. It's sad. And it's just so like honest. It's really good.
It sounds good. I mean, you've sold me. I know
it's
gotta go dig it up and try it out.
No, you really should. If you're kind of more into like sci-fi stuff, or if you just like adventure, I would go with Saga. Saga is written by Brian K. Vaughan. He did Y the Last Man. And Saga is kind of like the space opera. It's like it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet in space, but more like graphic, which is funny because Romeo and Juliet's pretty graphic.
Yeah.
But these two warring people, they fall in love. And she ends up getting pregnant, and they are on the run because they didn't realize, because they're two different types of species. Like one has horns and the chick has wings, and they're just basically on the run, and it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Like the art is done by Fiona Staples, and it's just so beautiful and just awesome.
So you get into it. I mean, the story, the art, all of it sucks you in and captures you.
Art is super important to me. Like sometimes I've read books and they've had like good stories, but like I just haven't dug the art, so I can't really get into it as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's like, for instance, Sandman was one of the big comic books that I got into when I first started reading, and some of the artists in it, like, so Sandman is done by Neil Gaiman, and he wrote the entire arc, and it's like 10 volumes, and then, like, there's different artists throughout. Like, every single time there's, like, a new issue or something, like, there's a new artist. And some of the art I just didn't really dig, and so I didn't really like those arcs as much.
Huh.
So
I'll check them out.
Yeah,
I mean, if you recommend them, they must be good.
Yes.
I mean, your shit,
Yes.
There's a question I wanted to ask you, especially since you had karaoke at the Hello Sweetie 200. What's your go-to karaoke song? Everybody has that go-to karaoke song.
Gold Digger by Kanye.
See, and they're always something you would least expect.
Yeah. Yep, that one's my go-to.
Couple other questions. You might have heard me ask them to other people, but if you were on death row, what would be your final meal?
Oh, shit. This is good. Do you know what? I would eat all the gluten. Like I would.
That's why I had to ask you this one, because I was like, I gotta ask Danielle this one.
I want breadsticks. Like I I would probably get like
Little Caesars
yeah, like
breadsticks?
Little Caesars crazy bread. I would probably eat 5 packages of that.
It just,
Yeah, I don't even care. Like I would be so
just want it
sick.
in liquid form.
Yep,
just drink it.
Yep, exactly like that. That would probably be it.
You can flip a switch that will wipe any band or musical artist off the earth. Who is it?
No. See, this is hard because, like,
You have no band that you just like, God, I got to get rid of that band.
I really hate Paramore and I really hate Nickelback.
Really?
Yeah, I hate Paramore.
It's been a minute since I've listened to Paramore.
I
but
don't mind like
maybe
chick
the old
bands
stuff.
that kind of sound like Paramore.
Okay.
I'm okay with those. Like I don't choose them, but like I'm not. I hate Paramore so much. And like I feel really bad about it because like as a person, when I've kind of like looked at stuff that Hayley Williams has done, like the lead singer, I'm just like, like you and I would probably get along very well, but my God, I fucking hate your music so much. So
honest, fair question.
Yeah.
Let's say you could time travel. Would you go to the past or the future?
I would probably go to the past.
And what would you do?
I would really want to go to so many concerts. I would go see the Smiths, and I would go see Susie and the Banshees, and I would go see
So the good stuff.
Yeah, like I would
like
go.
the Cure when they were in their prime, and
Yes.
Joy Division. And,
Oh my God, I would go see Joy Division.
yeah.
So, yep, there's so
Okay,
many. Yep,
okay.
I would.
Dead Kennedys were in their
Yes.
right, in their prime. And
Oh
their,
my God, yes, like all the Jello Biafra. Like, oh my God, yeah, that's totally what I do. Is I'd go to like the late 70s and just go to as many concerts as I possibly could.
What is your least favorite social media application or website, or do you have like one that you just like, God, I hate that, or I dislike it?
You know what? I have like such an addiction to social media. It's stupid. But I think everybody does. But I have so often wanted to get rid of my Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. Like, but I don't because the podcast, like it helps keep me up to date with like events and stuff like that. But most of the time, like, especially during like elections and stuff, like I just don't.
It gets horrible then, right? Like it's just like, oh, God.
I have unfollowed so many people. Like I won't unfriend them because I don't want to deal with like the drama of them like messaging me like, why did you delete me? Because I've had
Do
that
people
happen.
do that to you?
I've had that happen
Really?
before. Like a girl like messaged me. She's like, I thought we were friends, and I was just like, you stopped talking to me, and so I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, but now we're cool. Like
Yeah.
she and I are really cool. But yeah.
Facebook's the hub, though. You have to be on
You
there.
have to, and it's so weird. Like it has outlasted like all the other social media that's similar to it.
That have kind of
You know.
shrunk away or disappeared.
Like for instance, like MySpace, like you kind of thought that was the be all end all, and then Facebook shows up and like that's kind of been it for a while. Like
Yeah.
Google Plus tried and nobody really jumped on that bandwagon.
Well, and there's other fun ones, Instagram
I
and
love
stuff like that. But
Instagram.
they're on such different
It's a completely
spectrums.
yeah, and I really like Snapchat a lot. Yeah, like Snapchat, I have like a few friends that like we send each other like stupid shit like all the time and stuff, and like yeah, and like Twitter is probably my favorite. I love Twitter.
I used to be big in like really enjoy Twitter, but now it's just I don't know. It's just too much out there. Not enough hours in the day
Yeah,
to keep up on that.
it's true.
Here's a fun one. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to
Okay.
phrase this one right. I was thinking of it. I was like, this would be a fun question to ask. You woke up and you're the mayor of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And you had the, I don't know, with, we don't need to get all the details, but like you could change a law or you can make something happen in Salt Lake. You could bring something here. You have the power to do something really cool
Okay.
to Salt Lake or change a law. What would you do? What would Danielle do? Well, I don't know. You were the mayor of Salt Lake all of a sudden.
I'd probably get rid of like try to get rid of a lot of like our bullshit like liquor laws.
Okay.
Like that's a whole state thing, but like I would totally campaign.
Start it in Salt Lake.
Yeah,
I mean,
start it
why
in Salt
not?
Lake, and, like, yeah.
Cities, and again, it's hypothetical. I realize, you know what I mean?
no,
But yeah.
But yeah, and like I would totally do that because like it's hindering to our tourism
Sure.
and stuff. Like I've had so many people that like when I like worked in a grocery store for a while, and I remember people coming in from out of state and they'd be like, where's your wine and stuff? You know what I mean? And it's just like, and then people just think that like kind of treat us more as a joke because of it.
But we're not the only state that has it that way, though. And I mean, I think it's BS too. But at the same time, I'm going to defend it a little bit, just for the devil's advocate type thing. Just because Pennsylvania, I lived in Pennsylvania the same way. You had to go to the bar to buy your beers, and stuff like that.
Colorado, I know, has some weird, and Oregon has some weird liquor laws as well. Like, I mean, I think
Utah, we get targeted because of the religious part. You know what I mean? So it's automatically that is the reason.
It's true. So I would probably, maybe the one that I would get rid of is just like the restaurant one where you have to order food to get a drink and stuff. Like, that's probably the one. Yeah,
there's or how much liquor is in a drink, so they can't make certain mixed drinks, and I'm it's
there's like some of them. It's just like, all right, every state has like something weird, but I think that's probably the one that I would just.
And I love your answer. But what's your favorite thing about Salt Lake? Do you have like something like favorite, or that you love about the city, or that you? So growing up, I wanted to get the fuck out of Utah. Well, we all
so
did.
bad.
We all did.
Yeah. And like, I just I hated it here.
And some days I still do.
Yeah, no, there's some certain aspects, like it's a very small lake city.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, it's very much a small town, which is kind of a little nerve wracking. But growing up, like, I hated it here. Like, it was better elsewhere and stuff. I moved up to Oregon for 6 months a couple years ago.
Where in Oregon?
Just south of Portland.
Okay.
And I realized that like Salt Lake isn't really like, we're pretty similar to Portland and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there are some obvious differences and stuff, but it was really like the people were not that different and stuff. And that's what I was like, so just anti, because I didn't grow up Mormon. I grew up Catholic and stuff. So it was kind of a lot of like, I didn't have.
So that was tough for you as a kid.
It was really tough. Like, I know that some people have had it like tougher and stuff because like people were more judgmental. Like, one of my friends got like chased down with rocks.
Really?
When she was a kid because she wasn't Mormon and stuff. And like, I wasn't invited to birthday parties, and I couldn't really hang out with a lot of people and stuff as a little kid. So. And
that was quite a few years ago. I think it's probably calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think every single time, like, I think every few years, like, it kind of calms down a little bit. But, so I just kind of realized that, like, all the other religions are pretty similar to this. Like, so I just kind of, I like the community here.
There definitely is that, especially with the whole counterculture underground scene, the whole.
And it's relatively welcoming. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like, nothing is 100% just like awesome and everybody loves each other, but
we're not all just hugging each other.
No, that'd be nice, but it's very welcoming. And it was so much easier to make friends up here than it was like in St. George.
Sure.
Like, I didn't really have any friends down there. And the moment I moved up here, I just kind of like found groups and it was just great. Yeah.
Seeing so people listening, if Utah's not that bad, you just got to get out there and experience it a little bit.
It's true. It really, and we get a lot of good shows here too, like a lot of good concerts.
A lot of music, comedy. I mean, I think even the podcasting scene, is growing over the last few years. A lot of podcasts, more podcasts popping up and venues to be at. What do you want written on your tombstone? What do you want when you die?
So many things. I have so many, like, I have like a list of demands that I want for my tombstone.
Wow. Usually when I ask people this, they're like, well, I don't know. I've never, like, you have it written out. You're ready.
I've had a list. One of them is Snape isn't a hero in the way that like people think that he is, but I don't want to have like a huge long diatribe about like how he is a hero in certain aspects, but not in this aspect and stuff. So just Snape isn't a hero. And then, still not over the Dexter finale.
That's a show I haven't gotten into yet. Well, I haven't started watching.
Okay, just stop it. At the end of season 4, just stop.
Okay. Anyway, was there anything else you want to those are good. Those are good answers. Yeah. Those are good.
I've had a lot. I do, two things that I want at my funeral is I want the I want the fight scene, like the church fight scene from the Kingsman played at my funeral. And then I also want the song Shia LaBeouf by Rob Cantor played at my funeral as well.
Oh man, I better go to your funeral. Hopefully I'll get
my
invited.
funeral's gonna be wicked awesome. It's gonna be such a good time.
Well, on that note, how can people can people get in touch with you anyway, or like Twitter or whatever,
you can find me on
or
Twitter. I'm at Danielle _.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook, HelloCityPodcast.com.
Do you care if I put these links at IamSaltLake.com with
totally.
with this episode?
Yeah, no, do it.
Everything, right there at IamSaltLake.com.
Sure.
If people can't, I'll put them on everything. Get in touch. Let her know you heard her on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Let her
friend me on Facebook if you want. Like, I'm
say,
totally down.
I listened to that episode on I Am Salt Lake.
Yeah.
You were awesome. I want the same things on my tombstone. I've had a great.
Let's bond over like weird shit that we want on our tombstone.
I love it. I've had a great time chatting. Anything else you wanted to talk about, or I mean, there's so much we could talk about.
There's so much that we could talk about, but yeah, no,
it really,
I know.
But no, I've had fun.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was awesome.
You bet. All right, many thanks goes out to Danielle for coming on this episode of the podcast. I had a great time chatting with her and letting her have a chance to share a little bit about herself. Again, IamSaltLake.com/212 or 212 is where you can find all the links to get in touch with her. Follow her on Facebook, Twitter, any social media outlets. Connect with her and let her know you heard her on I Am Salt Lake. IamSaltLake.com is a website. Go there and you can purchase T-shirts. You can purchase hoodies, mugs. That's a great way to support the show. Keep I Am Salt Lake moving forward. Help out with some of the expenses. There is also a donate button where you can donate $1 or $2 or become a monthly donor and help the podcast that way. Many thanks to any of you who have supported the show either regularly right now or in the past. I want to give a big thank you to you as well. Also, I want to tell you about Lyft. It's a great way to get around Salt Lake City. You've heard me talk about them. If you've never used them, I got a promo code for you. What you're going to want to do is download the Lyft app on your smartphone. That's LYFT. Enter in the promo code I Am Salt Lake, all one word, IAM Salt Lake. It's going to give you $5 off of 10 rides. So it's like a $50 value. It's a great way to get around if you want to go out do some bar hopping, if you want to go do some drinking with your friends. Maybe you need to get out to the airport or even take it up to Park City. Lyft is a great way to get around Salt Lake City. Also support Oleo Skin and Beard, oleoskin.com. Use the promo code I Am Salt Lake. It's going to give you 25% off your purchase. Might I suggest their beard oils? Fantastic. If you got a beard, if you know a guy in your life that has a beard and you want to help keep it soft and shiny, try some of their beard oils and support a great local Salt Lake City company. Anyway, that's going to do it. Episode 212, Danielle UberAlles. Thank you so much, Danielle, for coming on this episode. I had a great time chatting with you. I'd love to know your thoughts on this episode or any other episode. So you guys all have a great week. Get out, support local, enjoy the city, and we'll catch you again next week.